For some reason, whenever you use body change on Kid Buu, or as well as Kid Buu, Super Villainous Mode Kid Buu, for some reason, his face does this weird warping thing. It only appears on this version of Buu and no other character as far as I'm aware. I don't know if this is a reference to pure evil Buu, that Majin Buu battled to and then got 8 to then become Super Buu. But it's just interesting that this is the only Majin Buu character in the game that this happens to. Very bizarre and a little bit eerie, to be honest. When you join any online lobby, whether it be a play match, an endless battle, an online parallel quest, a raid, or any of the other number of online lobbies, your connection will always appear as a 5-bar connection from your perspective, even if you have a bad connection. If you limit burst while having any sort of power-up activated, such as Divinity Unleashed, such as any of the fighting poses, etc., once the limit burst has run out, it will remove all prior power-ups, so just be careful. Vegito has 3 presets, with preset 2 representing Goku with skills such as the Kamehameha and Super Dragon Fist, and preset 3 representing Vegeta with skills such as Final Flash, and naturally preset 1 is the true Vegito preset. There is a voice actor in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, and his name is Ryan Renolds. No, not that one. The Time Nest in Xenoverse 2 uses different shaders compared to the rest of Conton City. Although this isn't confirmed, the reason for this is more than likely, well, probably because the Time Nest could have been copy and pasted from Xenoverse 1 directly into Xenoverse 2, and at least as of right now, they've not updated the shader from the Time Nest compared to the rest of Conton City. The way you unlock Super Saiyan 4 Goku in the original Xenoverse game, so in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1, is a bit strange and awkward and just weird in general compared to how you unlock literally any other character. To unlock Super Saiyan 4 Goku in Xenoverse 1, you have to clear all of the parallel quests excluding the DLC parallel quests, and then you get Super Saiyan 4 Goku as a playable character. I have no idea why they did this. Like, why not make it Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta instead? Sure, why not? There used to be a completely harmless glitch in Conton City where if you went to around this area in the overworld, you could actually fly through the mountain and go inside of Conton City. If I remember at least, this was removed, or rather they fixed it in Legendary Pack 1, the Legendary Pack 1 free update. But it was just cool to see, I believe Goku and Oob and Supreme Kai of Time herself, as well as just some random Time Patrollers, were all over the place here, and some of them didn't even have dialogue if you spoke to them. I understand why it was removed, but this, you couldn't exploit this. There's nothing to gain really from doing this other than just to see Conton City from the inside out, and again, unfortunately, it was removed. Full Power Super Saiyan Broly from the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, his super attacks can be used if you have enough stamina and ki while you're being attacked. You can actually increase the hits on the Super Mad Dance super attack from just 3 hits to 5 hits if you use it while in any of the Super Saiyan Awoken skills. You can only win by using self-destruct online if you're not the host of the lobby. For example, if you are the host of the lobby and someone joins and you have max health and they have as little health as possible without actually being defeated, if you then go for self-destruct and it connects, you won't win regardless. You cannot win by being the host of the lobby. This is never explained. It's assumed that it's a bit of a glitch or an oversight because it doesn't make sense at all. But yeah, just weird. Gigantic Roar is the worst skill to use in raids. The reason being is because, yes, although it may do a decent amount of damage, and although it only hits the opponent once, it then gives the opponent, the raid boss, a few seconds of invincibility, meaning they do not receive any more damage for, again, just a couple of seconds, which makes it very unfair and very annoying for the other teammates. Do not use this. It's also just as bad as Divine Lasso, because Divine Lasso traps them in like a bit of an, it's like a cutscene animation, what have you. Do not use either of these skills. As a side note, when I host lobbies for raids online, just randomly and people join, if anyone uses these and then they join back, I do tend to kick them because, again, you're making it so your other teammates can't do as much damage as they would normally be able to do. Majub has a somewhat secret second preset, which is Majub in the Oob outfit and a moveset that more so resembles Oob from the end of Dragon Ball Z. To get this, you do need the appropriate DLC, I believe at least, which is DLC 10, also known as officially Ultra Pack 2. You do need to go and buy the Oob gift in the TP Metal Store if it's available. Then go and talk to Oob, who should be by the World Tournament Arena next to Hit. Talk to him, hand over the gift, and you'll get the second preset of Majub. Mecha Frieza appears in the Xenoverse 2 intro, but as of right now, he's not anywhere else to be seen in the game outside of his quote-unquote outfit that you can wear for your characters. He's not a playable character, and apart from appearing in the intro cinematic, he doesn't appear anywhere else at all as of right now in the entire game. You can get the flying Nimbus vehicle by talking to this character flying in the sky in Conton City once you learn how to fly. Basically, as in when you defeat Final Form Frieza and Final Form Cooler in the Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 story mode. Despite it being the flying Nimbus, it doesn't fly. Ki Blast cancels are part of the Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 PvP meta. A Ki Blast cancel is when you cancel the animation of what you're doing by shooting a basic Ki Blast and then instantly stepping out of the way. For example, if you are just going for a basic combination string on your opponent and then your opponent vanishes, instead of you either vanishing or stopping or going for a back hit, which can be perfect blocked or even countered with a skill such as reverse Mebiku Senko, you can instead fire just one basic Ki Blast and then instantly step forwards, backwards, to the sides, or what have you, to then get into a safe position to then continue. Hit is technically the best character in all of Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. There's a few reasons for this, but the main reason is just how fast and efficient he is at ki cancelling. The Kaioken Awoken skills are known for draining your stamina, but if you have the Super Saiyan Blue Goku Super Soul equipped and you just go into the normal Kaioken, so I guess Kaioken times 1, you will actually slightly regenerate stamina rather than losing it. By using this Super Soul, which is a raid reward, you can change your basic Ki Blast to a stone. Yeah. There are a few ultimate attacks in Xenoverse 2 which can actually be used as a back hit ultimate attack. These include skills such as Soul Punisher, Crush Cannon, and Power Rush. Base form Teen Gohan is actually in both Xenoverse 1 and Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 in the story mode as part of a cutscene when you defeat Cell at the end of the Cell Saga. Although, as of right now, even though the model is there, he is not a playable character. There's actually a voice from TeamFourStar that you can actually have as the voice for your playable character, your cack. Take a listen.
Stop! Believe it! Ha! Stop! Huh? Daddy! Yep.
The Icarus CC Mascot will copy you if you use the Elder Kai emote, as you can see right here. The first ever online raid event in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 was in the, I believe, the first closed beta for Xenoverse 2 against Majin Vegeta before they changed his name in Xenoverse 2 from Majin Vegeta to Prince of Destruction. Vegeta. If you pick this eye option here, and I believe there's another one at least as well, but then transform into a Super Saiyan 3 on your Saiyan CAC, your eyes will completely, in every way, shape, and form, your eyes will completely change into what you would expect to see from a Super Saiyan 3. In terms of just damage, Final Explosion will deal out the most damage out of any ultimate attack against a raid boss and give you more points. Now, certain raid bosses will you just won't be able to use Final Explosion against them, right? So with that said, a second ultimate that you should be using in raids is Emperor's Death Beam. You cannot at all go wrong with the Emperor's Death Beam ultimate attack. Going from Xenoverse 1, the original Dragon Ball Xenoverse game, to Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, a couple of characters were removed, a couple of playable characters, those being Venus Mode, Xeno Trunks, Venus Mode, Vegeta, Venus Mode, Ultimate Gohan, as well as Venus Mode, Super Saiyan 3 Gold Tanks, as well as a few more. Now for this next one, I'm not entirely sure if this was a glitch or if it's been removed from the game, but if you used Emperor Sign in a team battle and you used it and you were a Freeze Race character, you can make your teammates move beyond what looks like modded speed. Again, I don't know if this is still in the game or if it's been changed or what have you, but you can make for some pretty interesting results regardless. Legendary Super Saiyan Broly is the only character that can appear in Conton City with an actual aura. Once you talk to him and he can become your mentor, when you go and talk to him then in Conton City, he doesn't have an aura. It's only when you first approach him in Conton City that he has a rather menacing green aura. Oh, mostly because of YouTubers, hi, that includes me, we tend to call each Xenoverse 2 DLC one number after what it actually is. So for example, the Hero of Justice Pack 1 DLC is technically and officially the 14th paid DLC for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, but as YouTubers, we refer to it as DLC 15. The reason for this is because in 2020, when the free Supreme Kite of Time update came out, we just referred to that during the promotion and for like YouTube titles and thumbnails and stuff like that. We referred to that DLC as DLC 11 because it was the 11th major update. So if there's any sort of like confusion of like, oh, why are they calling this DLC 15, DLC 16, etc, 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 that's the reason for it. And I think we're kind of too far in at this point now to start calling it, for example, DLC 14, because we did that for the Conton City Vault DLC, and then DLC 15 or 13 was Legendary Pack 2, even though it was the 12th paid DLC. Dispo, especially in his Awoken skill, is currently the fastest character in all of Dragon Ball Xenoverse, including Xenoverse 1 and Xenoverse 2. I mean, just look at him right here. He's absolutely insanely fast. Oh, yes. As of right now, Semi-Perfect Cell is the only character, excluding giant characters and DLC characters or DLC-based characters such as Super Saiyan Rage, Future Trunks, that is not a playable character despite actually being fully in the game from the Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 Dragon Ball The Breakers crossover event. Because sure, why not? What a missed opportunity. For some reason, you can't change the name of your custom character, your avatar, your CAC, again, whatever you want to call it, when you use the Dragon Balls to summon Shenron, even though you can change pretty much, essentially, everything else. You can't access the Frieza Time Rift if the Frieza Force Invasion event is on in Conton City. Now, again, for the purposes of this video, I couldn't get any footage of that specifically, just because the Frieza Invasion event is a timed event in Xenoverse 2. It comes on every couple of months or every X amount of time. I don't know when, well, I don't know how long that is. It is pretty much random when it happens, but again, for the purposes of this video, unfortunately, I couldn't get any footage of that specifically just because the event wasn't on. Supreme Kai of Time has a unique animation when she uses the maximum charge super attack. I don't believe there's anything different from this version of maximum charge, but it's the, well, Supreme Kai of Time as of right now is the only character in Xenoverse 2 with a different animation for just the normal maximum charge. Ultra Instinct Saiyan Goku was added several years before he was a playable character. He was first added as part of a cutscene as part of the Tokopedia mode. The perfect Kamehameha ultimate attack cannot be blocked or perfect blocked, even if you have a perfect block, or rather just guard limit burst, so just be careful. The rock, paper, scissors super attack is different depending on which input you select. There's 3 in total. Naturally, those are rock, paper, and you guessed it, scissors. There are 2 skills in Xenoverse 2 with the exact same name. That is the Super Explosive Wave. The first one is the evasive skill, and the second one is a key-based super attack, which can also be used to, well, you can go for backflip before you click it, if you click L1 downwards, and it launches a sort of like a miniature version of the full power energy wave ultimate attack. You can, however, perfect block just normal basic key blasts, although the timing is exceptionally tricky. If you can do it, fair play. You can make custom Jiren look like El Hermano. LeMayo. Support for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 was only originally planned for a year after its release. Now keep in mind, by support, it doesn't necessarily mean DLC, it means DLC and the online events and patches and stuff like that. But because of the overwhelming success and to some extent the surprising success of Xenoverse 2, DLC as well as support in both paid and free updates and patches and stuff like that has been going on for several years since its release. QQ bangs did not exist in the original Dragon Ball Xenoverse game. They were only introduced in Xenoverse 2 as a way for you to be able to properly customize the appearance of your character. So back in Xenoverse 1, the only way you could increase or decrease to some extent your stats or boost certain stats, for example, if you were a key or a strike-based player, would be the equipment you wore and boosting your attribute points. So you saw, back in Prime Xenoverse 1, you saw a lot of people wearing very, very, very similar outfits because, well, that's how you did it back in the original Xenoverse game. For probably obvious reasons, body change can't be used in certain modes, such as the story mode, raids, expert missions, and parallel quests. Going back now to Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1, Krillin and Yamcha both have a preset in Xenoverse 1 which has Kaioken. Not times 3 or not times 20, I don't believe, just the normal Kaioken. And back in Xenoverse 1, bonus fact here, Kaioken was a super attack, not an awoken skill. This was taken out for Xenoverse 2, no idea why or why they didn't get Kaioken as a mentor preset. But yeah, back in Xenoverse 1, Krillin and Yamcha had Kaioken on one of their presets. Because sure, why not? Even though Tien didn't, so it's not as if it's from training with King Kai. It's very strange. By using an additional input on Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta's Super Kamehameha, you can absorb it to get an attack increase. By using this Super Soul right here, you can change your basic Ki Blast into a heart, like what Rubrian uses in Xenoverse 2 and in Dragon Ball Super. This is also a Super Soul that you can get from a raid. There's actually a decent chance that the Breaker Energy Wave Ultimate Attack, also known as the Angry Kamehameha, was originally planned to be in the base game, but for whatever reason was cut or taken out of the base game to be resold later on. And the reason for this, well, there's a few reasons. Firstly, it's the first new skill available from the first DLC that Xenoverse got. So it was from Parallel Quest 101. And if you go into the skill list, it's actually near the top. Now, every DLC skill, with the exception of the Breaker Energy Wave, and I think the Jumping Energy Wave, but you can get that from the TP Mail store technically for free or without having to buy additional content. Every DLC skill is at the bottom of the list, apart from, again, the Breaker Energy Wave, even though that is also a DLC skill, meaning that, yeah, there's actually a very good chance that they deliberately and intentionally removed this from the base game to put into a paid DLC later on. If that is the case, then, well, make of that what you will. The Crush Cannon super attack can actually one-shot your opponent if it's fully charged, and also you can pause the charging of this attack by clicking the guard button. Both legendary Super Saiyan Broly from Dragon Ball Z as well as full power Super Saiyan Broly from Dragon Ball Super Broly are the only two characters in the game right now to have a different color for their basic ki blasts. Instead of it being yellow, theirs are green to represent legendary Super Saiyan, full power Super Saiyan, stuff like that. Yes, Ribrianne does fire hearts, but at the same time, those aren't necessarily ki blasts. They are, but it's not like it's a reskin of the ki blast. Just a bit of a disclaimer right there.